What's going on, everybody? GemMint here with today's new comic book day reviews. It's Wednesday, June 22nd. Literally, I normally record these videos on Tuesdays, release them early for members, but man, I've been swamped with this move, and there was a ton of books that came out today, so I'm literally filming this the morning of. I probably look like I just rolled out of bed.
They barely get out.
But let's jump into this week's reviews as spoiler-free as possible. A couple of quick things. I'm going live on Whatnot today at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and I've got a stack of omnibus. I've got Whatnot Wednesday exclusives, regular ratio variants, and more. So make sure to come check me out later today. It's the last Whatnot that we're doing out of this house, and we got a ton of stuff we got to get rid of. If you haven't yet, download Whatnot using the link in my description. It'll give you a $10 credit towards your first purchase. And lastly, I do want to thank Dynamite Entertainment for sponsoring this video. They do have 4 titles coming out today, and we're going to talk about a few of them, but they have Samurai Sonia, a new #1, Elvira in Horrorland issue 2, John Carter of Mars issue 3, and Sheena, Queen of the Jungle issue 7. Make sure to show some love to Dynamite at your LCS today, and let's talk about Samurai Sonia issue #1. So it's exactly what you think. It's a new #1 featuring a new Red Sonia type of character. This has more of a feudal Japan inspiration, and I dug it so far, man. You don't need any prior reading. You could just jump right into this and tell this tale of a new type of Red Sonia. Amazing Lucio Perillo cover here. Liked this issue. I'm going to follow this series, just like I'm continuing to read John Carter of Mars. Issue 3 is here, and I like the explanation of this blending of Earth and Mars and why John is able to now leap on Earth like he is on Mars. Deja recruiting Earthlings, and it looks like more Earth-type characters will have these types of powers, so it's going to be interesting. There's this big civil war going on Mars with the different races and everything, so it's fun. I like John Carter, and I like where this story's going. Let's jump over to Marvel. So Amazing Spider-Man's here with issue 4, Wells, Romita Jr., Hannah, and Menez. Man, it's so weird to say. Amazing Spider-Man has been great. Tombstone is such an awesome villain here because he's not like a traditional villain, and he really plays Spider-Man in this issue. I don't want to give too much away, but really like the dynamic between Tombstone and Robbie and intermingling with Peter's world and Spider-Man's world. It's still 6 months later. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, like why does Mary Jane have a kid? But wow, man, Amazing Spider-Man has been good. Moving over to Moon Knight, issue 12, McKay, Cappuccio, and Rosenberg. I almost tweeted that I've been loving this series so far, but I didn't really want to spoil this video. This is the Moon Knight book. For everyone who didn't like the Moon Knight show for the lack of Moon Knight, which I totally understand, that is not the issue here. This is a total superhero, dark, street level type of Marvel Moon Knight book. I think it's definitely a run that you should pick up from the beginning. Moon Knight being totally badass. If you remember at the end of last issue, he was able to teleport from one place to the other, or was he? Kind of reminded me of the show a little bit, running through like this Egyptian hall of the Fist of Khonshu, summoning all the past fists. It was a great issue, man. Amazing artwork, kind of dark, gritty Moon Knight stuff that we all want. Then we have a new #1, man. New Fantastic Four, issue #1 by Peter David. He's joined by Alan Rosenberg and Mike Spicer. So this is what you think it is. Remember back in the day when the Fantastic Four were captured, and then we had a new Fantastic Four with Grey Hulk, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Wolverine? This takes place shortly after that run, so it's another kind of callback. Think like X-Men Legends, but it has this dope like religious undertone of this nun who seems to be having impure thoughts, and rightfully so. There's some type of demonic beast that's going throughout the churches pretending to be a priest or what have you, which is why the supernatural aspect ties into Ghost Rider here, and they're basically being called in to help like the Ghostbusters or something, man. But had fun with it. I love Peter David working on modern titles, just like this next one, World War M. This is issue 4. All 3 of these Maestro series have been amazing so far, and this one was no exception. You can see Maestro on the cover fighting, what is it, Gigantor, this big-ass whale character. A futuristic, older Namor is a total piece of shit. And Maestro's looking like the good guy here, which usually he's not. So definitely like the Peter David stuff going on. Moving on over to X-Men 12. This is by Jerry Dugan, Larraz, and Garcia. So it's been a slow X-Men title, man. It's already feeling like this new X-Men team is not going to be an X-Men team for much longer, but there was some great Phil Urich stuff here. The Reporter ready to blow the cap off of the Resurrection Protocol until the evil X-Men mind wiped him. They had a really cool newspaper article here that leaves big implications for mutants moving forward, and I hope they continue to play with that because I felt like this issue was slow, but I did like Phil Urich tie-in at the end. I think that's going to make this run a little bit more interesting because like the other stuff, fighting these random bad guys and plant monsters and stuff, not having fun with that. Then we got Silver Surfer Rebirth issue 5 by Ron Mars, Ron Lim, Don Ho, and Israel Silva. I really liked this series. It was fun. It was a callback to 90s Silver Surfer. I thought it ended kind of safe. You know, this battle between Tyrant, Silver Surfer, and Thanos, and what Captain Marvel's son. It was a trippy issue. I mean, you're battling somebody with the Reality Stone, so the art was amazing and a little bit more abstract than the rest of the run. Really love the style and the tone of this series, but the ending was just anticlimactic for me. Still recommend it. Still thought it was a good 5-issue miniseries. Gonna end with Punisher War Journal Blitz. This is a one-shot by, is it a one-shot? It's number 1. Groenbeck, Medina, and Febuela. Loving Jason Aaron's new Punisher run. I understand the criticisms, but I still enjoy it. This one, I don't feel like it was needed. I don't think you need to read this if you're reading Punisher. Some kind of callback to some guy Punisher dealt with 10 years ago in some small town that got destroyed. He's back. Don't care. It doesn't really feel like the same story. The different writers really kind of changed it for me, but yeah, wasn't feeling this one. Moving on over to DC, man, we have some Dark Crisis stuff. So The Flash 783. I stopped reading The Flash. I wanted to read this issue to tie in with Dark Crisis. It just lets me know we have too many of the same characters, man. There's too many Flashes. There's too many different versions of Superman, too many different versions of Wonder Woman. There's another Dark Crisis tie-in, Young Justice, which is a 6-issue miniseries. So with The Flash, I don't even remember what they're looking for. They're looking for a certain version of Barry Allen. There's multiple versions within the Omniverse. I'm getting confused with Young Justice. Let's just talk about Young Justice. This wasn't for me, man. I thought the art was cringe. I thought the writing was cringe. It felt like it was intentionally for a younger audience. There's even cringe lines. I had to even snap a picture of this. I don't even know who this Wonder Woman person is. I'm a little behind. There's too many of the same type of characters. Diana just died. All of us are in the same room pretending like the last few years never happened. Half of us died, and I just wish some of them would have stayed dead. It's like, what the hell? So anyway, I guess the premise of Young Justice, she's able to wish the deaths of people or superheroes that were dead. They stayed dead because she wished it. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to be able to hang on for the whole miniseries here. Wasn't feeling it. But I am growing fonder of World's Finest. Issue 4 is here. This is by Mark Waid, Moira, and Bon Villain. Batman, Superman, beware the power of Green Lantern's light. So they're fighting this devil Nezza character, which seems like a throwaway character, but they're able to possess people, make good guys fight good guys. So epic battle here between Green Lantern and some crazy Wonder Twins activate stuff. Dragon Ball Z, what do they call this move again? With trunks in them, which was fun, man. And when that happened, I found myself out loud being like, oh. So even though I don't want to spoil it, I'm trying to dance around it. If you guys read this, you know what I'm talking about. Super fun. I did enjoy this issue. And then moving on to Batman the Knight, we're on issue 6 out of 10. I got the variant here. Chip Zdarsky, he's joined by Gian Demencio, and Placencia. Really like this series. Super strong writing. Again, it's just all the training Bruce Wayne went through before he became Batman. He's riding with this other student. They have very different ideals. It feels like a Ghost Maker Batman dynamic, but it's not. It's earlier. I forget the guy's name, Anton or something. Training with guns to know how to defend himself against people with guns. Bruce Wayne hates guns. And some epic teacher-student moments here, man. Love this series. Very well written. And I wish I was able to read it back-to-back in one shot, man. I kind of hate waiting for the next one because I want to see where he leaves off here. Is this going to lead into his Batman ongoing? That would make a lot of sense. Then we have a new #1, just in time for the movie. That's 2 years late. Black Adam. Issue #1 is a 12-issue miniseries by Priest, Sandoval and Hermes. I didn't like the issue for the most part. It didn't feel like a Black Adam issue. It centered around this kid, and this kid was just always on. That's the way I could describe him. He is just like bouncing off the walls, like a thing one, thing two type of character. Cringe writing. I mean, look at this panel here. He hit us with the sheesh. But I really like how it ended, and it made sense towards the end. The artwork was, you know, nothing to write home about. It was good. It was clean. But they kind of made me hate this character, and at the end I was like, oh, okay, I'm down to see where this goes. So okay, I see you, DC. Last one from DC by Tom Taylor. We're on to Nightwing, issue 93, joined by Redondo and Lucas. Strong title. I usually save this for last when I'm reading because it flows. Artwork is beautiful. It's amazing. Nightwing, he's feeling a little preachy, you know, like he's exposing the police right in front of the public, and yeah, which is all good. I mean, there were crooked cops there, but it feels like, the social awareness aspect of Nightwing is kind of making him feel like, I don't know, a tryhard. I'm not really feeling that. It's been throughout the whole series, some issues more than others. And not that this one was too bad, but he just feels like this preachy, goody two-shoes guy. Although I do like the interactions between him and Oracle. Nothing really major happened in this issue. Now we're gonna go to Boom Studios, guys. Something is Killing the Children, issue 24. James Tynion in the 4th, Werther Deladra, Miguel Muerto. So this was a very art-heavy book. Very little dialogue. It just kind of flowed. We're looking at, we've got Erica Slaughter on the lam, still trying to be a monster hunter. No backing from the House of Slaughter, so that's kind of interesting. We have a new monster attacking a village, and she's being drawn out there to try to save the day. But, you know, like I said, without the backing, it's increasingly harder, and we're getting glimpses of some White Mask, some other factions of the House of Slaughter, who are ruthless, man. The way that they discipline, they don't play any games, and feel like Erica Slaughter is going to have her hands full coming up pretty soon. Great issue, great artwork, the same thing that we're getting, the gritty, ominous tone. Awesome. Then we got Bloodstained Teeth issue 3, Christian Ward with Patrick Reynolds. So I really like this series. I like the Art Deco Miami Vice color palette with the gritty line work, and our vampire character who's got to find all the humans that he changed, all the sips, otherwise he's gonna get killed. What does he have, a month to do it or something like that? So each issue focuses him having to kill another person that he turned, and you know, he turned whoever the hell had the most money, so it's not really an easy task, and I can kind of see where this series is going, and I'm here for it. I like the lore, I like the world that they're building here. Bloodstained Teeth, man, good vampire book. Next up, we have a new #1, Beware the Eye of Odin. This is by Wagner, Odlin, Madsen, and Dukeshire. I really dug this, man. I gave it a shot, and I was pleasantly surprised. We're playing with Norse mythology, the characters that we know and love. You hear these names in Marvel books and other titles, but this is a story placed in that world, and somebody has stumbled upon the Eye of Odin. And whoever finds the Eye of Odin is responsible to return it to its rightful place. Otherwise, they are killed or whatever. So it's kind of one of those, you know, the Eye of Odin's the MacGuffin, and we lose it, and we find it, and we're responsible for it, and we're meeting some allies along the way. Some Valkyrie who doesn't seem like a Valkyrie, but I have a feeling that she's gonna prove her worth later on in the series. So if you like Norse mythology, it plays in that world without being bogged down by superheroes, and it's fun, man. The writing is fluid. It's got a nice fast pace to it. I dug it. And then we have Gunslinger Spawn. We're on issue 5, McFarlane Brett Booth. Easily my favorite Spawn book right now. Like I was saying last week, this is the one that feels like it has its own identity. Even though Gunslinger is in Scorched and other Spawn books, this one just feels more unique. It has more of a personal touch. We learn more of Javi, the Gunslinger Spawn's past, and of course something terrible happened to his family, and we learn, you know, even though he can't read or write, he can still fight, and he can still be an asset. And this one does actually link into kind of the Scorched story of trying to build this team. Well, She-Spawn is actually, and trying to get Al Simmons on board. Loving her advice to Javi on how to get on Al's side and what he's got to do to try to convince him, even though he doesn't want to do it or even believe that it's true. I'm being vague on purpose. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. Really dug this issue. Great artwork. I mean, Brett Booth, McFarlane, you can't go wrong with that. Then we got Nocterra, issue 11, Scott Snyder, Tony S. Daniel, Marcelo Mayalo. What? Blacktop Bill? You mean he's not a good guy? Saw that coming a mile away. Very much like Waterworld. We're looking for that piece of land on Earth that has light, not land like in Waterworld. You know, but some action-packed stuff here, some sacrifices going on, some betrayals. It's got a great dark 90s image vibe to it. I like Noctera. Started off a little slow, but it really picked up on this issue. Then we got Newburn, another Chip Zdarsky book. He's joined by Jacob Phillips, number 8, which ends this first big arc or big volume. And wow, I wowed out loud on this one, man. Newburn, in order to clear his new sidekick's name, shows us a side of him that we haven't really seen before, man. He is not this nice old man that's just the detective working for both families. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but he ain't such a nice guy, and we really see that here, ending this volume, leaving us wanting more. Love this tone. It's like a SVU, Law and Order type of comic. Serious tone, but really great, man. This issue really made me kind of jump out of my seat a little bit. Then we have I Hate This Place, issue 2. This is by Kyle Stars, Artem Toplin, and Lee Luridge. I don't know, it's okay. I don't really like this one as much. I mean, it's basically these two women who are forced to stay in this haunted house. What is it, one of those things, if you sleep through the night, you can get the property because their crazy aunt left it in their will? That's not exactly what it is, but it's like that. I don't know. They really go out of their way to play on that relationship here, and you're kind of like, okay, we get it. And I don't care about the zombies. I don't know. I'm not really digging this one. I do like the variants that instead of saying I hate this place, it says this place. I actually have one of those for sale on Whatnot later today, man. But the series, I don't know. I might give it a few more reads. This one was kind of like, okay, I see what you're doing. Which brings us to our pick of the week, and man, I had to give it to the Silver Coin. Issue 11, this is James Tynion IV with Michael Walsh. Michael Walsh draws all these issues. It's always a star-studded writer doing a one-off story for this anthology series that follows this evil silver coin. This one has to do with a diner. This is going to give you nightmares. I mean, it was really descriptive the way that they showed what the silver coin did to the people of this diner, what they did to this rude old lady who owns it, who's a little bit jaded, but she's still got nice charm to her. She had a lot of heart, and this was just a gruesome, violent horror story about wishing that customers would come to your diner and be hungry. But you got to be careful what you wish for, man. Great issue to an amazing series. This is going to be an awesome collected edition someday. And that's going to be everything for the new comic book day reviews, man. Let me know what you thought about this week's comics in the comments down below. Appreciate you watching. Hope to see you on Whatnot later. Stay minty fresh. Peace.